All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I'm your comedian slash meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and I will be bringing you the top vibe stories of May 5th, 2024. I think I put the wrong date in the description, but that's all right. We are just going to go ahead and start the broadcast. Um, yeah, today we have had a lot more solar weather. We had another X class flare. So I'm so excited to get into what that means for the weather. Let's go ahead and check it out. Well, I've got Earthquake 3D pulled up, but I first want to go into our volcanoes because that's where we usually start. And the surface of the Earth is fluffy. We know this. Let's see. Let's go to volcanodiscovery.com and check out their update. All right, we've got a depth and magnitude plot for the Kilauea imminent eruption, maybe, or just earthquake swarm at the top of volcano. You never know which is which. We've got several M2 to 3s, an M3 to 4 here, and looks like we are increasing and having little bouts of heavy earthquake activity and then none, and heavy earthquake activity, then none, and they're also mostly shallow, which looks like something that would be a imminent volcano eruption. Lewotolo continues to explode down here on the Lesser Sunda Islands. Sabancaya also doesn't look to be putting off much, but it says explosive activity. It continues. Okay, intermittent emissions to 21,000 feet, flight level 210. In Lewotolo, explosive activity continues. I just said that. Kilauea. Following strong unrest period, the volcano, okay, it kicks me off sometimes. While we're waiting, I want to point out that I do have a Patreon. Kilauea has had a strong unrest period over the past week. Intense seismic activity halted beneath the upper rift zone. You see this halt? That might, to me, observing the Icelandic eruption, that says that maybe there's putting the energy into pressure. The number of earthquakes waned to about 18 events over the past 24 hours, compared to 350 per day at the spike in the tremor. Earthquakes continued to be detected at depths between 2 to 3 kilometers beneath the surface. Most earthquakes were recorded with a magnitude less than M1, excluding the strongest M2.3 quake in the last 24 hours. The distribution of earthquakes remains mainly from the southeast side of Kaluapele beneath the Kianakaoi crater, shifting to the intersection within the Hilinapali Road. There have been no earthquakes in the caldera south of Halemaumau on this same period. The ground deformation has essentially halted beneath Halemaumau crater and the southern portion of Kaluapele and Kianakaoi, showing just over 1 microradian of inflation on both tilt meters within the last day. The Uekahuna tilt meter detected slight inflation starting around 4:30 local time yesterday, showing a local deflation-inflation pattern beneath Halemaumau crater. If there's one thing that studying volcanoes will teach you, it is how to butcher pronunciations in different native languages. Icelandic, Hawaiian, the list goes on. Fuego continues its ongoing emissions, as does Reventador and Sabancaya. Sakurajima showing up again. let's see what the total May 5th report was. Sakurajima exploded at 12:31 UTC over flight level 60. I don't know what STNR means off the top of my head. Observe volcanic activity. Samiru explodes. Dukono explodes. Let's see. This is the Sakurajima explosion. You can see kind of ripples outward in the atmosphere. There's also a lot of lower level volcanic ash emission, which can serve as cloud condensation nuclei. Dukono continues to explode. Volcanic ash plumes up to 7,000 feet. Porache volcano in Colombia. Let's see if that's on here. Yes. Since the declaration of orange status alert, as seismic activity related to fracture and fluid movements has exhibited a consistent pattern in terms of the number of events and the released energy. Looks like earthquakes stemming from rock fracturing. Is that fracking? Is that what they're saying? Is that a fracking related earthquake that they're reporting in Colombia? I don't know. Detected beneath the crater of the volcano. They wouldn't frack a volcano, would they? No, this has got to be the actual rock fracturing from natural magmatic processes. And on its eastern flank, occurring at depths ranging from 0.8 to 4 kilometers. Fluid movement concentrated around the crater in its northern flank, occurring at depths shallower than 0.8 kilometers. Domes or protuberances that may or may not breach the surface. So something's going on there. That might be why we've seen some increased. They're reporting on increased activity. Seismic activity in Colombia, and we've seen that on our earthquake reports recently. The wrong volcano. The Ruang continues to explode up to flight level 60. I guess the taller emissions are waning. Popo continues to explode. And so does Fuego Santiaguito as well. Frequent ash emissions from Santiaguito. Sangay has new volcanic ash emissions. Reventador and Sabancaya have possible and intermittent volcanic ash emissions, respectively. So, cool little volcano update. Let's go now to check out our earthquakes. And we are looking at, I did change my feeds a little to try to decrease duplicates, but I fear I might have missed some. But let's start in the Americas rather than we usually start in the West Pacific, and all these bells going off in the background. That is earthquakes, and they have mostly recently come from Hawaii. Let's start over here in the East Pacific, though, because we've got some East Argentinian rise activity. We've got a 5.4 at 10 kilometers depth out here, and then a 4.9, looks like 4.9s at 10 kilometers depth at 3:33 p.m. fun time, and 3:27 p.m. So bang, bang, right, one after the other. And then after that, at around 6 o'clock, we had a deep earthquake in, I think this is going to be in, this is in Bolivia. This is, again, in that border region where it's like right next to, it's like Chile, Argentina, border region. I was going to say that looks like Argentina, but that's Chile. No, that's Bolivia. That's on the Bolivia, Chile coast. Political coast. You know, what's a coastline but for politics? A border. borders on the Bolivia-Argentina border. There's been a 4.4 at 527 kilometers depth. So that is some deep earthquake coming out. 4.6 at 53 kilometers depth down here in Chile proper. We had some continued activity in Puerto Rico. 4.1 here in, where is this registering? This is registering as part of Veracruz in Mexico. Okay. We've also got, as we work through the United States, we've got a 2.1 down here in Gulf Coast, Texas region. We've got a stack of medium 1s to 2.0s in the West Texas fracking region. We've also got two 1.6s up here in Oklahoma. Then as we go out, we've got rather large 4.4 at 4 kilometers depth right outside of the Great Salt Lake in Salt Lake City, Utah. We've also got a 2.5 at 11 kilometers depth there. I think the 4 was before the 4 was at 7:30. 2.5 was at 8:30. So yeah, the 2.5 was kind of an aftershock of that 4.4. Then we've also got, again, our Southern California cluster. Let's turn the quake rings down so we can see. These are all right around the border region of Mexico and Southern California. Then we got a few moving up the coast. Also have more out on the Juan de Fuca fracture zone. 2.9 at 10 kilometers depth. We've got some minor tremors up here on the Canadian border. Then we've also got, I have to take the size of the rings down for Alaska as well. Some very large, a large number of very small quakes up here in Alaska. Now, let's go over to the West Pacific. Central Pacific, we've got, as I said in the volcano update, we do have a swarm over in Hawaii that is tapering off, but still active. We have spread on either side. Let me pull this back to show. On either side, what is this? Well, these are the volcanoes that don't always like to show up on my map. But right here is on Alaska, where we've had this 5.1, 5.4. Right on either side of it, kind of flanking that, we've got more quakes showing up recently in the 2.6 and 3.9 range here on the Russian side of the Aleutian Island chain. Let's go now down this plate boundary into near Taiwan, near the Philippines. It looks like Taiwan has gotten out of the strike zone, and we are now in the sea, the South China Sea, like between Taiwan and the start of the Philippines is where we've got our new activity, 4.7 and a 4.8. We've got a 6.2. Ooh, 6.2. That's a biggin over here near between where the Philippines, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea all meet. I think this is the Banda Sea. It's very hard to see. Let's see what register. Okay. 153 kilometers west-southwest of Fakfak. I don't know if I'm saying that right. FAK, Indonesia. Fakfak, Indonesia. There's also a few other quakes right near it. It looks like this was the first one. 6.2, two 6.2s registering there, as well as a 4.7 and a 5.6. As we go down the chain, we see a 5.4 closer to the Papua New Guinea proper island, 4.9 as we get out into the independent islands. As we get into the wave-shaped plate boundary, this 4.5 in what the USGS calls New Caledonia, we've got at, and that was at 102 kilometers depth, 4.6 at 288 kilometers depth, and a 4.8 at 350 kilometers depth. Those are all right here at the crest of the wave. And I believe that means it's in Fiji. Wangare. Who's going to claim that area? Is this going to show me? Tonga. I was wrong. I sometimes get Fiji and Tonga confused of which island chain each one. I think Fiji is these islands on the inner wave shape and Tonga is on the outer wave shape. And then over here is the Andaman Islands. We've got a crazy amount of quakes for New Zealand here. They're all in the smaller. This is the type of thing that we expect to see in. Oh, okay. Maybe it's because our date was screwing up. That was a week's worth of quakes. Was it? Are you telling me lies? Okay, there we go. No, there we go. Yeah, in the past day, we've had quite a few different smaller quakes around the North Island and the northern part of the South Island in New Zealand. And I think this indicates that they would have had a bigger earthquake if there wasn't a dispersal of energy to all these different plate inflection points. Like, inflection point in the curve means where it goes from going up to going down. Basically like the peak of the curve, like the knuckle. Oh shit. I'm not drop my mic because I'm trying to, the knuckle on my hands. That's what I mean by inflection point. When I'm talking about inflection points in the curve, that's what I mean. Okay, let me not use both of my hands to talk while I'm holding a microphone. Okay, 2.1 here in Australia. That is registering. Okay, the date thing went back again. Give me my feedback. There we go. 2.1 here near Adelaide, Australia. We got 2.4, 2.4, and 3.0 north of Perth, I guess, in the western province of Australia. Not much in the actual heart of Asia today. We've got a cluster of quakes. I think that I turned on a feed I don't usually turn on. I turned on the lower octave of the euro. I turned on the lower quakes. So we're seeing a lot of quakes around Greece as we turn on more feeds. I can't turn on every feed that's an option in Earthquake 3D without crashing the program, not even my computer, just the program itself. And looks like we didn't have anything on the Atlantic Ridge today. So that's our earthquake roundup for today. Our pincushion Earth. You know how this looks like a pincushion? Let's go now to our atmosphere because we go from the inside out. Also, hello to all my viewers out there. I know that you're here. I don't know who you are, where you are, because I stream from Streamlabs Talk Studio. So I just see a live number count and it's not that many. Don't worry. But there's enough that I could be like, oh, there could be one person on each of the platforms I'm streaming to. Yeah, it's not that many. Let's go now to our atmosphere. And actually, I'm going to change this to be big screen. Hold on. Okay. Taking a look at radar Omega, we have the little center of circulation that was hovering over the Pacific Northwest yesterday, stationing itself squarely squarely over Wyoming. It's a joke because Wyoming is a square. Um, and we've got power outages up here in Montana right after a storm cell went in, but I have a feeling that is not strong enough to have knocked out power. So I don't know, but maybe it is for rural Montana. Over here in St. Louis, we seem to have a surface center of circulation around St. Louis, but the low is charted at Little Rock Pine Bluff area, and the biggest squall line is coming off the Mississippi into Memphis, Tennessee, and Mississippi, the state. Got another one sweeping up through Kentucky and central Tennessee as well. We've also got a little cell of precipitation here near Lagrange or Lagrange if you never took Calc 3, but it's Lagrange if you took partial differential equations. Lagrange, Georgia is getting a little bit of precipitation right now, as is Greenville, South Carolina, Statesville, North Carolina. We're getting a little bit of precipitation. These are all, again, I'm going to draw it again, wave shape. The wave shape. The shape of a crashing wave going all the way into here. And this is the inflow. Do you see it? Do you see it? These are the shapes that nature makes all the time. Okay. Let's go to, I'm going to pull up a global weather map right now because actually for once, I think this is the first day in over a week straight that we haven't had active tornado watches or warnings. So we can finally take some time to go to Zoom Earth and look at our global weather. So let's do that. Okay. So that is what that looks like. I've got fires turned on so we can see where there's wildfires around the country, around the world, the country of Earth. We've got actually kind of a dry spell for southern and central Brazil, but we are getting some in the jungles up north. We are dealing with some rain and some, I think, tropical cyclone related onshore flow in Tanzania and Kenya because Kenya, unfortunately, I know that is the Texas of Australia, or Texas of Africa. Why did I say Australia? Texas of Africa. It looks like the tropical cyclone that was coming ashore has dissipated, thankfully, but we are still looking at precipitation just northeast of Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, and that country has suffered at least 228 fatalities due to the flooding recently. So let's keep Kenya in our prayers and our thoughts on our altars, whatever you do to hope for the best in the world. Please think of the people dealing with the massive, massive flooding in Kenya and Tanzania. Not too much rain up in Russia right now, which means we should have a great view of our Schumann resonances, and rain in Turkey and Iran and in the Middle East, in Gaza, in Tel Aviv. We've got some rain going on. In the Gaza Strip, we've got rain. So maybe the invading soldiers will get scared of the rain and go away. Anyway, the rest of the world, we've got some Bangladesh is seeing rain. We've got wildfires still going on in Laos, but the Vietnam wildfires have been cooling down. They're finally getting a little bit more rain in northern Vietnam, but there is still a drought going on in the area, so we do hope that they get more rainfall there. Just as I don't think I've talked about this on the channel very much, but there's a water budget for the globe, and global budget doesn't mean just things about money. It means how much resources can go where. And when there are floods in places that, don't get that much rain, there are droughts in places that are used to having that much rain. So Vietnam is one of those places that is currently in some partial drought conditions. Let's see. China's also been undergoing their own flooding. Some parts of China have been undergone some flooding recently as well. As we look at the South Pacific, we've got some nice circulation going on there. Probably going to try to sweep into New Zealand, trying to hit Fiji and Tonga maybe. We've got several circulations around Papua New Guinea that have a chance of becoming centers of circulation. Looks like this is the one that's probably got the best chance. Let's take a look at temperatures. This is 2-meter temperature. You can really see as we step back in time, you can really see the way that temperature spreads. I wish I could see the whole globe at once right now, but whatever. I don't know why we can't buffer this fast. But you can see there is kind of a battle of the seasons going on in the United States. Africa is very squarely in summer. Hidea, that's the remnant low that I was talking about. Okay, so it is classified as a remnant low as of May 5th at 6 a.m. And then as we march on into the day of May 6th, they have gotten rid of that remnant low. So let's watch that play out. Yeah, as peak heating came, this made landfall in Tanzania and then was no longer classified as a tropical low around midday, May 5th. Let's see. Finally didn't see a setup for severe weather in the Midwest of the United States. That's a really good thing. Let's take a look at actually how much rain we ended up with in the past week, because observed precipitation has got to be crazy. God damn. I mean, I'm sorry, but damn, that is a ton of water. I don't know who needs to drink that much water. United States turning into a fish or something. That's too much. That's too much rain. Californian challenge. Don't say we needed this when it rains a lot. Challenge level impossible. But that is a lot of rain in 168 hours. Now, is this not gonna? Okay. 24-hour precip analysis, though. Fortunately, in just the past day, still a dummy amount of rain in one day over there. But evening out between the Upper Sierras, the Mid-Atlantic, the Piedmont regions of North and South Carolina, getting an even amount, but still Texas is underwater, quite literally, in a lot of ways. Let's go now to check out our Schumann resonance data, because we were expected to get a solar storm making landfall today. Let's see what that did to our resonances. Okay, yes. And in the earlier hours of May 5th, we got some really high readings here. We also had several vertical pulses of information or power or whatever you want to call it. Several bursts were released throughout the day on May 5th. We've got, and I have a feeling around 12 to 13, 14, between 16 and 17 and 21, we're going to see some really big increases in power when we go to the amplitudes, because these vertical streaks of like the white bands over a long period of time show us a long period of a certain wavelength, a certain range of wavelengths getting bigger power. But when we get these vertical spikes of white, that's all wavelengths getting a lot of power at once. So I have a feeling we're going to get like one right after another percussive types of beats. And honestly, you could put this into a hertz. You could put this into a waveform and observe that as a frequency itself, but we don't do that yet. Now, looking into May 6th, as we are currently in May 6th on UTC time and most of USA time, about 4 hours ago, we started to really vibe. The planet really started to vibe again, probably getting hit with these geomagnetic storms. So let's take a brief look at our amplitudes and then go talk about our solar weather. Oh, yeah, what did I tell you? There were going to be some discrete pulses between 12 and 21 UTC on the 5th. There was that little burst. This is the little burst, this first spike of wavelengths that actually did come in at the mode 1 rather than the mode 4. But there's a lot of little discrete pulses of energy coming in all at once. And they are distributed so that they're a little bit skewed towards the lower frequency, but really a lot of lower frequency energy coming in, probably trying to ground us. I don't know. But the mode 4 leads the other 3 modes, and then it tapers off. The other 3 modes got a good deal of amplitude after mode 4 peaked, but mode 4 peaked and was like, no, I'm good. I'm tapping out. But it is on the spike again. In the last like 30 minutes, we are on the rise. So let's see if our frequencies raised any. Oh, frequencies dropped big time. Our frequencies for each of the 4 modes, the average, this is a calculation of where the average middle of the amount of power coming in for these ranges is sitting. Where is the middle of that range of where's the middle of the normal curve? There's 4-ish normal curves of where there are even distributions of power coming in at different frequency ranges. And this right here is a measure of where that normal curve is centered. So our normal curve for these was a little high. We really peaked around midnight UTC time with some pretty high frequencies, but we are back down to nominal average-ish now. Now let's take a look at what's been driving all of this, which is our solar weather. Oh man, look at all the alerts. Sometimes I come on here and there's no alerts. Look at all the alerts. Our solar wind density is high. Interplanetary magnetic strength, interplanetary magnetic field strength is moderate in the northern direction, so probably not very good coupling with the Earth's magnetic alignment to give us aurora, but definitely feeding the radiation belts around the Earth. Disturbance storm time index also predicts moderate storm conditions right now, and we had an M-class flare in the past 2 hours. Still no big CMEs, though. Very shocking there. Let's take a look at our solar flare report, though, because that's where the real money's been. Look at this. Look at this. Two M-class flares in one day. We've got, again, after we had very close to X class. Oh, I'm sorry. I said M class. I meant X class. Two X class flares in one day. This isn't unheard of, but it is rare. And this is right after we had some very close to X class flare M flares yesterday. So May 5th, we had an X class flare, an X 1.32 around 6 UTC. That would have been around midnight ish last night for Eastern time. So probably while I was on the air. And then we've got another one on May 5th peaking at X 1.29 at 11:50 UTC. So just around the middle of the day for the US. So that's really exciting. These both came from sunspot regions 3663, which is one we've been watching. So let's take a look at that right now. This is 3663. This is the one that has been putting off its flares. And 3664 looks like it's trying to do something as well. But let's take a look at our I think I want to look at 131 because I just have a feeling this is going to give us a better pop for our X flares today. 1, 2, 3, right off the bat. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh my God. Look at all of those pops. Let's see this again. Let's watch the paparazzi flashbulb type of thing going on. And it is feeding, it's fluxing with this group and this group as well. Look at all of that. A really productive sunspot group. This has been a gorgeous transit for 3663. You couldn't ask for something better, a better named storm, honestly. You couldn't ask for a more symmetrical, beautiful storm name. This one, we're going to be able to see a little bit more of the plasma flux that goes along with these storms. The flares make an X shape because of lens on the satellite, but it's also easy to recognize that they're X-class flares when they make a big X on the screen. Let's see what we can see from our 1600. This one's a little calmer looking, but the calm is deceiving because we don't see all the other activity going into this. Let's see if they've fixed the composite view now. They have, yes. Okay, finally. This is my favorite view because you get 3 different wavelengths to look at once. And you get to see the way that the different bursts are shaped according to different wavelengths. Let's also take a look at this sunspot. 3664 down here looks really pretty as well. And it looks like there's some communication between those two. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Now let's take a look at modeled incoming geomagnetic storms from WSA and Enlil. All right, not showing any on that one. On the Enlil, let's see if the WSA is showing. Okay, we're gonna have to. Oh, look at all that. North and south of us, very, very active. Let's see. Can I scroll up enough? Oh, I have to get this out of the way. This is the one that doesn't like to autoplay itself. Here comes the storm that was forecast to hit today/tonight, which I think we are seeing. So this is where we were expected for the previous X-class flare to hit us. And let's take a look at what that has meant for our KP index. Today, we did peak out around a KP 5. Let's take a look at our other auroral activity. Currently sitting at a KP of 5. That's pretty good. Probably a chance to see aurora in Canada and Antarctica. We're in moderate storm conditions right now, moderate geomagnetic storm. We are looking at a medium high solar wind, and we had a huge spike in density just a minute ago. But now we are sitting comfortably, like literally 2 minutes ago. We had a really high density spike, but then we're sitting back comfortably at low density levels now, which is probably why the solar wind can be so high. We have a moderately high interplanetary magnetic field strength, and the magnetometers in Canada all look like they are getting some pretty decent magnetic flux. Our interplanetary magnetic field is vacillating between a north and south component. We're sitting at a northern component right now. Southern component is better for seeing aurora, but I was watching our aurora cams before the broadcast and wasn't like they are showing. We did reach G1 geomagnetic storm radiation today. That's KP5. They didn't send an alert for these. Very interesting that they didn't send an alert for these X-class flares. Did I imagine them? No, these were X-class flares. These are into R3 radio blackout territories. These are some pretty big spikes. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't tweet about that, but let's take a look at our webcams. Let's see if our Manitoba webcam is showing anything good. I've also found a different Canada webcam that Atibiti, I think is it what it's called. I'm gonna pull this one up in the tab that you can see, and then I'm gonna find this other webcam because it's a really good one as well. This one's just shown sky glow for a while. Hold on, let me go searching in a different tab. Hello, where's my mouse? My mouse isn't showing up. For some reason, I can do new tab, but okay, for some reason my cursor has gone away. Don't know what that means. I can still click on stuff, but this is very funny. This is very funny. Love it. I'm just having to like hover over links and click on them. That's very funny. Okay. Oh, it's back. Okay. My cursor came back. And I will copy and paste this into the... Oh, it went away again. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Okay, this is the cam that did show some pretty good aurora earlier tonight. This is the one that I think I'm going to be going to for... Let's see if I can click around to better spots. Earlier in the night, they were showing some pretty good aurora. This is over Quebec. It's all right. I mean, it's pretty. It's just sky glow colors, but it's doing the thing. So that's nice. And we're on live camera, and you are actively seeing some aurora colors, so that's really cool. But not anything not anything huge. They've got people speculating on that CME that's supposed to be hitting us, but maybe not. The surface of the sun is fluffy. This is what I've been saying for years. It's fluffy. There are so many levels to the sun. They have a lower atmosphere, a corona. There are so many atmospheric processes going on the sun's surface that we should be ashamed to call ourselves meteorologists down here on Earth. It is actually so much more dank up there. I think there is a lot that terrestrial meteorologists can learn from helioseismologists. And also, we are looking again at the wave-shaped low here, and it is nicely spiraled. Can you see this? That nice spiral shape taking place here. We got a nautilus-shaped low centered over St. Louis right now. That's what's sweeping some bands of precipitation throughout the southeast. So if you are a place that usually gets overnight rain, you're probably going to get it tonight. So I think that concludes this section of the broadcast. Let's go now to our cosmic weather. Do you like my mug? It says, "Relax, nothing is under control." Love that. Love that thought. Okay. Let's take a look at what the cards have to say for today. I just have a feeling that I want to start with... I usually end with this deck, but I want to start with it for today for some reason. This is the one that I use the selenite with. Flashy. It's the one that looks like it's like a fiber optic cable made out of rocks. Fiber optic cable? I don't know. Drop some. Those will come back to me if they're supposed to be picked. I would like one card from this deck that summarizes the cosmic weather coming into the planet right now. I am learning that all problems resolve themselves. I am learning that all problems resolve themselves. And this says, when you have a problem, a desire exudes forth from you, and Source hears it and answers it immediately. Once you remove your attention from the problem, you then allow the solution. Give birth to the question and let it go, and allow the answers to flow. And it's got a picture of the ocean and starfish and some nautiluses, sand dollars, other types of seashell crustaceans. Very pretty. Let's now take a liminal space card with this. Of course, I have my ocean jasper with that, which is a great combination with this card. Oh, jumped out. Same, but different. Same, but different. And it's got a moth and a bee, two different types of pollinators. And same, but different has an entry in here. It says, the synchronistic overlap of two symbols representing the same meaning. A strand that leads into the tapestry of interconnectedness of all things, both a way out and a way in. An opening is created in finding that all these seemingly different totems are the same at the root of it all. So yeah, you can make any two symbols match if you want, because they all go back to the same thing, truth and meaning. Wild. All problems resolve themselves. Same, but different. These are good vibes that we're getting here. Let's get a summary card with the tarot. Ooh, they feel jumpy today. Oh, and remember that I use the labradorite with this one. Very beautiful, beautiful. Sounds good. Good. Good scratchy labradorite. We love that. Would you guys watch an ASMR live stream if I did it? I'm thinking about doing it. Thinking about doing like a Just Twitch live stream, ASMR style. This is the card I was thinking of earlier when I see same, but different. I think of the Two of Pentacles, because this is a balancing act. This is it's all vibes all the way up and down kind of thing. And with the other two cards, this is every single person's story will be able to reflect another person's story, because we all go through the same waveform of beginning, middle, end, and all the different ways that you can divide a story into. How a circle is infinitely divisible and still a circle, but all circles are not each other. This is that concept. This is, even if you don't understand me, even if you don't understand what it's like to be a 30-year-old basement dweller with some sort of weird gender thing going on and doing stand-up comedy, but also loving meteorology. Even if you don't get that, you will probably resonate with some part of the shape of my story, because we all go through stories together. We all go through our ups and downs, balancing these acts. I love the symbolism of waveforms in the background with the up and down of the ship, with the very visual sine wave imagery of that. Also, the Phrygian hat of the fish head hat kind of thing. Also, of the infinity symbol and the two of materia. This is the two of materiality card. Yesterday we got the two of wands, and now we're getting the two of pentacles, the two of the earth sign. The duality that is real in the material plane is that there is one thing or there is the other thing. It's a juggling act, it's a balancing act, and we're always going back and forth between states. But the going back and forth between states is the process. This also gives me, even though this is the first decan of Capricorn card, this is the Christmas card. This always gives me very Taurus vibes, because we're the second sign of the zodiac, and very wavy. Oh my gosh, that's what we missed. I felt like I jumped to this a little too soon. We didn't go over the planetary weather. How could I just jump from solar weather to cards? Gotta go to our planetary weather. Let's get that back up here. Okay. Planetary weather, I didn't talk about very much yet. So after our solar weather, the planetary weather that we've got coming in is this. I'll just start from the top. Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, and it is now retrograde. We've got Saturn in Pisces at 17 degrees, making a sextile to the Sun at 16 degrees of Taurus. We've got Neptune at the anaretic degree of Pisces. These are all transits that go very well with the cards that I've drawn today. Mars is in Aries at 4 degrees, trying to make a sextile to Pluto, but moving out of orb of that. We have Mercury conjunct Chiron today, conjunct the Sun. Mercury conjunct Sun, conjunct Chiron. What we are saying is definitely what we are feeling and what we are healing from today. Let me tell you that. I can vouch for that as someone who went out in community and IRL today. Who I met and what I talked about was definitely the things I'm trying to communicate about my lived experience and body and emotions. And I was able to network by going out and bearing my soul and people listening to me. By that, I mean I went to a stand-up comedy open mic and found people who had similar things going on in their life as I did. Go out there and be as confident as whatever Aries man you know. Just go out there and be that confident, because it'll work out, I promise, if you have the confidence of that kind of 20 degrees of Aries energy. Moon conjunct Mercury, also really great for communicating your feelings. But today, especially with this conjunction taking place right at Chiron, gonna find your wounded healer moment. Then we move into Taurus, where we have a beautiful stellium going on of Venus at 8 degrees of Taurus, the Sun at 16 degrees of Taurus, Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus, and beautifully Jupiter at 25 degrees of Taurus, which is my sun sign placement. So, as you could tell, I was born on May 15th because very Saturn ruled decan of Taurus, let me tell you. It's not the best placement, but it is certainly a lot of material to work with if you're a stand-up comedian. Okay, let's go back to, okay, we can close this out now. Okay, so we've got Two of Pentacles. I am learning that all problems resolve themselves, and same but different. I am learning that all problems resolve themselves. It's gonna work out. As the ocean goes up and down, so it goes. It won't be permanently out. It won't be permanently in. Just go with the flow. That's what go with the flow means. Same but different also means the highs and the lows are part of the same wave. They're just different. Okay. So I think that will end it for me tonight. It's a bit of a shorter show than usual, but I'm glad that we got through it in a decent hour. Oh, geez, it's 2:20 a.m. I guess it's not a decent hour, but oh well. I'm glad that y'all were here with me. Have a great night, everyone. I love you so much. Bye.